we're getting back into Fallout.
This will likely just end up being more of an inconvenience than anything. Lots of mods are going to break, and a lot of people will be waiting for mods to update, and there's even going to probably be a bit of a split in which version of the game people use going forward. Do you stick to the old version before the patch, or some will switch to the new version after the patch? Some of those new fixes will likely be nice for PC users, but a lot of these fixes are already addressed by free mods on PC. Conversely, when it comes to console users, this could genuinely be game-changing and worth a completely new playthrough of Fallout 4, specifically if you're playing on Xbox One or the Series S. I think this will really be a notable improvement.
Okay.
You'll likely notice far less crashing, far more stability, and just addressing a lot of those lingering issues that you could find tons of posts talking about. To me, some of the free new DLCs are really cool, specifically that makeshift.
Let's see, Fallout New Vegas.
Please welcome President Ronald Reagan, who has a few questions for you.
I want the brilliance.
Please welcome President Ronald Reagan, who has a few questions for you.
All of you will go to the polls. You'll stand there in the polling place and make a decision.
Fallout New Vegas, I am the LCs.
Not now. No!
Think you can run?
At this point, I don't have to tell you how great Fallout New Vegas is. Trust me, we know. But what if I told you that the magic of the game lies not just in its main story, but extends into its downloadable content? It's genuinely amazing that the DLCs took everything that was great about the base game and applied that to create 4 vastly different but uniquely interesting worlds for players to sink their radioactive teeth into. I mean, how many DLCs can you think of that are just as good, if not better, than the main game? Well, here's a few. And yet, here's Obsidian just strolling in with a big iron between the hips, producing 4 back-to-back bangers. From the ghostly confines of the Sierra Madre to the madcap experiments of the Big Empty, these DLCs offer a glimpse into the weirder side of the Fallout universe.
What illogic is this? Keep your filthy penis-tipped feet out of our labs and secrets!
But what truly makes them great is the way they seamlessly interconnect with each other, and even the base game, weaving this narrative tapestry that only reveals itself when you take the time to appreciate all the hidden details. For example,
Okay.
but wait, look, 3D animation is expensive, and I want to afford legs one day, so this video is sponsored by Displate. Displate is the go-to brand for top-notch metal posters that are a refreshing alternative to paper or canvas prints. There are over 2 million designs to choose from, ranging from original art to officially licensed art from things like Star Wars, Marvel, Elden Ring, and my personal favorite, Fallout. I recently got some 76 posters because say what you will about the gameplay, the art direction was so freaking good. You can even mount these bad boys without tools with their magnet mounting system. Each Displate comes with a magnet kit so you can mount them within seconds without
MS-13 gang member here illegally. Robbed a pregnant woman, then released.
Check.
Executed a San Francisco family, another illegal. Arrested, released. Then killed this young boy with a sword. Illegal immigrant, convicted, released. Then violently...
without damaging your walls. This also has the added benefit that you can swap your disc plates at any time you want by simply popping off the magnet and adding a new one. Display also offers fast delivery, meaning they'll be at your door in roughly 4 to 5
What about
business
now? What
days,
about
and
now?
all metal posters from Display are printed in the EU. They even have a new product called Textra, which features tactile textures and 3D contours. And to make things even sweeter, Display is celebrating its birthday. Because of the special occasion, you can now get the biggest discount of this year. Use the discount link in the description or use my code BOOFCAM to get 32% off for 1 to 2 disc plates, 37% off for 3, and 42% off for 4 or more.
Boof man?
Okay,
Boof
back to
can?
Vault
Boof it can?
22.
What are we talking
New
about?
Vegas has this charming ability to take something really simple, such as a vault filled with humans turned into plant monsters, and weave it seamlessly into the continuity of its expansive world. Vault 22
Yeah,
serves as
love
more
it.
than just a cautionary tale within the base game. To show you what I mean,
Damn,
there's this
sorry,
clever
man.
foreshadowing
That's
that
what I
happens
got.
before you
What I got
even
back
start
on.
the second DLC. You can tell the developers really wanted players to experience Vault 22 because this place gets a lot of love. Not only do a handful of quests send you here, but 2 of the 4 DLCs have deep connections to this one location. Regardless of the choices you may or may not have done here, each player who's experienced this vault intimately knows that A, no one has lived here for 150 years, the vault is completely abandoned, and B, this entire place is overrun with these monsters called spore carriers. It's only after reading the computer terminals you learn that the enemies you've been fighting are the residents from centuries ago. Prior experiments within the vault using dangerous fungal spores are the reason they mutated into these leafy abominations.
Oh, God,
There
no.
are very few people in the wasteland who know this, as most people aren't dumb enough to investigate, and those that were unknowingly sent there never came back. It's why when you're first tasked with the quest, the guy that gives it to you is very hush-hush and tells you not to let NCR authorities know.
Have you signed the release forms? No.
Please welcome President
How much
Ronald
is
Reagan,
YouTube
who has a
Plus
few
or
questions
whatever?
for you.
No? Doesn't matter. We'll keep that to ourselves.
As far as residents of the Mojave are concerned, this place is just another wasteland fairy tale. So it's really intriguing when you start the second DLC and find this random guy just casually wearing a Vault 22 jumpsuit and Pip-Boy. Players who might not be privy to the lore of Vault 22 might just see this as another guy in a Vault suit. I mean, it's not that foreign. Nellis Air Force Base and Vault 21 are nearby, places where Vault suits are common. But the difference of one digit takes on a whole new narrative meaning. Asking him about it, you quickly realize he's talking straight out of his ass. He claims he was born in Vault 22, yet can't even get the name of the device on his arm right. He keeps calling it a Pit-Boy. Someone, if they actually grew up in a vault, wouldn't mess this up. They would have had the thing since they were like 10.
Oh man, you got a Pip-Boy. I wish I was 10.
But even if you didn't pick up on his word vomit, we've personally been to Vault 22 and seen the horrors within, which is in turn reflected in your dialogue options. You can call him out as a liar.
Oh, you've been to Vault 2 too, huh? I may have been exaggerating a little. Truth is, I got this suit and the Pit-Boy off a dead prospector who came out from Zion.
It's so simple, and I wish more games did this, but the fact that dialogue is influenced by experiences you chose to do previously, it results in this cathartic gotcha moment where you can then leverage this to your advantage. And on top of being a really neat callback, something as simple as the clothing an NPC wears has multiple layers of meaning when your world is this rich. Ricky finding this vault suit in Zion subtly tells us that some of the residents must have escaped there, which when you think about it makes sense, considering vaults only open from the inside. We were only able to explore it because someone previously left it. Eventually, this is all confirmed when you find notes
I don't want
scattered
too
around
many
Zion
spoilers, but-
detailing the acts of cruelty survivors of Vault 22 committed throughout the valley.
MS-13 gang member here illegally, robbed a pregnant woman, then released, then executed a San Francisco.
What the fuck? I gotta get off this one. There's too many.
What
This
the
is
fuck?
add
What do
to
you mean
me.
they ate them?
2
And all
minutes.
of this is physically confirmed when you stumble across the remnants of their old camp, and even discover that a few caves still have spore carriers lurking centuries later. It's genuinely impressive because at a surface level this just looks like reused enemy assets, but there's a genuine lore reason why they're here in the valley, and it all ties back to Vault 22. 2022. This is environmental storytelling at its finest, because let me remind you, all of this is never outright told to the player. You could play this entire DLC and never make these connections, but players that take the time to piece these clues together can thread this hidden narrative that links 3 different areas together, explaining why the world is the way it is. When people talk about how great New Vegas' DLCs are, they're typically referring to moments like this. Yet, this is only one of many said moments. Each DLC is full of stories and connections, just like this one. But if we want to discover all these, we'll need to start from the beginning. No, I really mean that. I'm not doing the cliche YouTuber thing. The first and last DLCs have unique dialogue and interactions, solely dependent
ads,
on the choices you made within the...
Let's check Fallout 3.
Both Fallout 3 and New Vegas are getting on a bit, and could certainly benefit from a bit of TLC. With the games being more popular than ever before, thanks to Amazon's live-action TV adaptation, you might be left wondering how to get started. Don't worry, we've got you covered. Let's take a look at the best way to play Fallout 3 and New Vegas in 2024 with mods. Before we begin, you'll need 4 things. A copy of Fallout 3 and all of its DLC, a copy of New Vegas alongside all of its downloadable content, a Nexus Mods account, and a program called Wabberjack, which is an automated way to install user-made mod lists, but more on that later. Okay, on to the good stuff.
Cut it out.
I wish I knew how to do this
Begin
shit.
Again, Tale of Two Wastelands is a tailored list of over 300 mods maintained by Spring Hill John over on Nexus Mods. But how does it differ to Bethesda's vanilla experience? This collection of modifications aims to deliver the definitive experience for players used to some of the features of more modern games, whilst seamlessly combining both Fallout 3 and New Vegas into a single playable experience, thanks to the Tale of Two Wastelands Total Conversion project by Pin2Cat. But what does this all really mean for you? Well, not only can you continue your playthrough of Fallout 3 and all of its DLC directly into Fallout New Vegas with the same character, thanks to a brand new and custom-made quest added into the game, but you'll also have the gameplay mechanics of New Vegas whilst exploring the DC Wastelands, such as the companion wheel, weapon modifications, enhanced crafting, and more. And the good times don't stop there. With just over 320 modifications included, there's a bevy of improvements to appreciate. But here's our favorites. Vanilla UI Plus, as well as the HUD editor, both help to enhance your PC-specific experience, showing more of the information you need to know, whilst getting rid of the console-like clutter and font sizing. Gameplay tweaks like Sawyer Batty and Perk Sawyer, which focus on rebalancing your time in the wastelands with difficulty adjustments, stat alterations, and more, all whilst being based on the now iconic J Sawyer New Vegas mod, which was originally created and uploaded by Joshua Sawyer, the project director and lead designer of Fallout New Vegas. Tale of Two Wastelands Quick Start is, as the name implies, a handy mod that bypasses the somewhat tedious opening of Fallout 3, skipping the Vault 101 introduction, and starting your wasteland adventure right outside the vault door. But don't worry, because if you do want to experience the start of the game, this mod is entirely optional. The Just Vanilla Sprint mod adds the option to, you guessed it, sprint, something not introduced until Fallout 4. Melee attack options for non-melee weapons are now possible, thanks to the B42 Melee Bash mod. A small but greatly appreciated addition is the higher resolution screen mod, which does away with the original forced 720p output of screens like your Pip-Boy, computer terminals, and character creation menu, and instead renders to your native screen resolution. The diagonal movement and 360 movement modifications are two mods that, in tandem, do a fantastic job of removing the clunkiness found in the original games by allowing for more responsive controls, procedural leaning around corners, and more. The option to aim down sights, as introduced in Fallout New Vegas, in Fallout 3, makes a huge difference in making combat feel more tactical, and the inclusion of being able to cook grenades adds another layer to the combat mechanics too. Updated textures for weapons, locations, items, and clothing are included too, such as the Clothes HD Kids mod, which remasters all of the clothing for children in both New Vegas and Fallout 3, making use of 2K and 4K textures. There's also full integration of DLC-specific weapons and armor sets across both games. A tremendous amount of in-game customization options, such as tweaking how much XP you earn from specific actions, enabling or disabling certain NPC behaviors, and more. To top it off, Begin Again also includes a ton of in-game fixes and custom patches to keep your Fallout experience crash-free and running smoothly. While that all sounds great, it also sounds like it could take a lot of work. Fret not, because this will be the easiest modding experience you've ever had, and it's thanks to a wonderful program called Wabberjack. Here's what you need to do. Number 1, download Fallout 3 and New Vegas, making sure they're both entirely clean installs.
I need a
this is really
assistant
important,
modder.
just in case you've previously modded the games and have some leftover files.
Can you hear me, Internet?
Number 2,
Can you hear me? I
download
need a
Wabberjack
personal.
from their website. Number 3, sign into your Nexus Mods account. Number 4, locate the Begin Again Tale of Two Wastelands mod list under the Fallout New Vegas category. And number 5, get installing, and make sure to read the setup guide for any extra instructions you need to follow. And please, make sure you don't skip this step. It really is that simple. And thankfully, you're not going to have to worry about what load order the mods need to be in, configuring them one by one, and other inconveniences that might pop up to the games and have some leftover files. Number 2, download Wabberjack from their website. Number 3, sign into your Nexus Mods account. Number 4, locate the Begin Again Tale of Two Wastelands mod list under the Fallout New Vegas category. And number 5, get installing, and make sure to read the setup guide for any extra instructions you need to follow. And please, make sure you don't skip this step. It really is that simple. And thankfully, you're not going to have to worry about what load order the mods need to be in, configuring them one by one, and other inconveniences that might pop up when installing a mountain of mods. Wabberjack sorts that out for you. It's important to preface that, unless you've got a Nexus Premium account, you'll have to download each mod separately. But don't worry, as Wabber still installs the modifications for you, it's just a single extra step. And now you're ready to experience an enhanced Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Begin Again, A Tale of Two Wastelands shouldn't feel out of place for those looking to venture into the Wastelands for the first time, or even series veterans who just want a spruced up experience. With Begin Again installed and your Lone Wanderer ready to go, you should be all set for a fantastic time in both Fallout 3 and New Vegas. And for the small price of around 48 gigabytes of storage and over 300 hand-picked mods, this vanilla-friendly experience should be all you need for the best way to dive back into the Wasteland.
Interesting. Time traveling train. We're gonna play the finals in this.
How about that?
This will be more fun than Starfield. I'm disappointed.
Whoa, easy
Disappointed,
there,
guys.
easy. You've been out cold a couple of days now. Why don't you just relax a second? Get your bearings. Let's see what the damage is. How about your name?
Brian.
Can you tell me your name? Huh. I can't say it's what I'd have picked for you, but
Have you got a favorite Fallout mod? Let us know in the comments below. And for even more on Fallout, make sure to watch our video on the 9 things you should not do in Fallout 4, or 14 things Fallout 4 doesn't tell you.
Let's see him. Let's do this one.
We made USAA for homeowners who like being ready. That's why we have safety tips for things like fires.
There is a lot of freedom in the irradiated wastelands of Fallout 4. You can go almost anywhere, do almost anything, shoot almost anyone. But just because you can do something doesn't mean it's a good idea. Here are 9 things you should not do in Fallout 4. Fusion cores are a scarce resource and absolutely necessary for harnessing power armor. Unfortunately, a single fusion core doesn't last all that long. There's a tremendous temptation to play around with your new armor in the early game, but don't give in. Conserve your cores. There's very little in the starting quadrant of the map that necessitates power armor outside your first Deathclaw encounter. Save that suit for when you truly need it. Once you've saved up some cash, you can buy new fusion cores to keep you playing with power. While it's tempting to push your attributes to the max, certain items like bobbleheads and UR special books can push your attributes above and beyond the level needed for the highest tier perks. Sure, the stat bonuses of raising your perception to 11 are nice, but that's a bit of a waste when the perk level maxes out to 9. Generally, you should avoid pushing your stats above 8 during character creation if you are truly hoping to min-max your perk structure. Some of the best moments in the game are tucked away in the side quest. If you want to meet the most interesting characters and gather the best companions, take your time. And even though you have a quick save, make a full save every hour or so. This can give you the opportunity to go back if you missed something important, saw something interesting, or if any persistent bugs get in the way of your adventures. Mini nukes, cryo charges, and other specialized ammunition types are super rare. Unless you're fooling around with console command cheats, don't waste your precious special ammo on anything less than a boss level threat or Deathclaw. Water is icky. Don't wade in it, don't swim in it, and unless you are truly desperate, never drink it. Water retains radiation better than almost anything in the Fallout universe, and unless you want to see your health bar shrink to radiation poisoning, you'd best avoid any unfiltered H2O.
And that's what I call high-quality H2O. Oh!
It's incredible how quickly your inventory fills up with junk, so play by this rule. Never, ever enter a new major town or facility without cleaning out your pockets at a friendly workbench. Otherwise, exploration becomes an exercise in over-encumbered frustration. Once you discover a new site you want to explore, and the discovered alert triggers, fast travel back to your favorite base and drop off your extra items. Then fast travel back and get on scrounging. The so-called junk you find scattered around the various desks, shelves, and lockers of the Fallout 4 universe is actually post-apocalyptic treasure. If you have any intention of exploiting Fallout 4's extensive crafting and modification systems, you'll constantly be hungry for raw materials. Every item you pick up is a potential crafting component. Just drop them off at a workbench, and the materials will be available throughout that area for building structures and modifying your gear.
I needed that info.
Companions are great. The so-called junk you find scattered around the various desks, shelves, and lockers of the Fallout 4 universe is actually post-apocalyptic treasure. If you have any intention of exploiting Fallout 4's extensive crafting and modification systems, you'll constantly be hungry for raw materials. Every item you pick up is a potential crafting component. Just drop them off at a workbench, and the materials will be available throughout that area for building structures and modifying your gear.
Cool.
Companions are great. They provide extra firepower, draw enemy attention away from you, provide conversational context, and best of all, can carry your extra junk, extending your range. You'll have access to Codsworth, Dogmeat, and Preston from very early on, and you should use them. The one exception to this is if you're planning to use the Lone Wanderer perk. If you're planning on traveling alone, this ability provides you with some pretty useful incentive bonuses like extra carry capacity and improved damage resistance. The best part of this perk? You can still bring Dogmeat as your companion, and Lone Wanderer will still be active.
Okay then, let's stick together.
Okay.
Safely abandon power armor almost anywhere and later return to reclaim it, your map only tracks the last suit you left behind. If you have more than one suit, make sure to take the time to store them in places you will be able to find them, like your settlements. For more hard-learned lessons in Fallout 4, check our guide to things Fallout 4 doesn't tell you. You can find that in our Fallout 4 wiki. And for everything else pre- and post-apocalypse, stay tuned.
Introducing No Man's Sky, version 5.0.
We gotta play this in VR again.
Of the universe. With new technology, new flora and fauna.
That looks badass.
Planet variety is far beyond what was possible before. Oceans have waves, reflections, and more variety. Planets have wind patterns. Waves are dynamic and react to weather. On the surface of the planet, there are
Damn, this looks fucking badass.
atmospherics.
I'm gonna play that. That's better than
New
Starfield.
cloud allows detailed clouds and weather conditions.
What is this, man? I already have it. Nice.
With every update, we just want to surprise.
No, it's not looking good on this.
New worlds.
Maybe it's looking good now.
New gameplay.
Very cool. This is it. This in
New
VR?
technology.
These colors?
We're 8 years in now, and we still just want to do
I like
really
this
big
guy.
things.
I like this guy. Redemption. It's a redemption story. Look at how Christmas is. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at that. You could live there if you want. I'd live there. I did.
Our next update is called Worlds Part 1. I'm so proud of the team and the love they're pouring into it.
I gotta get back into this.
We are completely refreshing the universe with new technology,
Dude,
new
if
flora
this is
and
all-
fauna,
if
and
this is
new
VR
gameplay.
too. Learning different languages.
In No Man's Sky, what you see on screen is generated by the computer. And we're achieving a level of variety that just wasn't possible before. When we started No Man's Sky, I wanted people to feel like they had stepped into the cover of a science fiction novel.
This is the best.
Had to create a lot of new technology. New water technology can
Incredible.
create waves and reflections,
Love it.
oceans.
That's in
Look
VR.
so different to what we had before.
Super psychedelic waves in VR, please.
Ocean planets feel completely new.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
ships can now land on water.
Whoa.
6 months ago, we announced Light No Fire. It's this crazy ambitious game, and we've been working on it for years, and we've learned so many things.
Cool.
And it
Whoa.
feels like we're almost bringing this technology back from the future.
Beautiful.
Planets have wind patterns, waves are dynamic, and they react to the weather. My favorite thing in the game might just be flying through the clouds and out into space.
Yes, me too. That's what Starfield doesn't have. in VR.
Clouds for us are a unique challenge, right? You
Incredible.
can see them from space, you can fly
Damn.
through them, you know, you can land on a planet and look up at the sky.
We're getting back into this.
You get these beautiful skies now with just tons
Oh,
of variety.
kettlebell.
Sometimes
kinda
a
in
storm
awe.
hits and, you know, the waves rise, the clouds gather. You've got the atmospherics, the wind,
That's
all
badass.
this
Doing
technology
that in VR?
comes together all at once, and there's nothing like it.
I gotta see it.
On the surface of the planet, we've added these new volumetrics. And you get rolling fog, rain, blizzards, little sparks coming up from the lava. It changes how planets feel, you know? It just makes them feel alive.
Yeah. Badass. That's beautiful.
Across these new biomes, we've added new creatures for you to discover. We're
got
really
really
trying
long
to push on the level of variety. It's not enough for us to just do more, you know? We want to create things that people haven't seen before.
I love that. I love it.
Expeditions have become a huge part of how folks play the game. And this new one is very sort of Starship Troopers inspired. It's something really different.
Starship Troopers inspired?
It takes you on a tour of some of these cool new planets that we've added. Everyone is battling together, progress is community driven, and the rewards are super cool.
This is awesome.
Something I love is to browse the screenshots that people share with us.
This is better than Starfield.
I
Because
can't
it's in
wait
VR.
for people to explore this universe we've made with fresh eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks beautiful.
The update is called Worlds Part 1 because I guess there's much more to come.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Wowza, wowza, wowza. Snowman Sky World. Steam VR. Yes. Oh no. We need VR. Huh. Let's see. Let's go for it.
At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot.
Welcome back to what essentially is, I would say, the best VR game on PSVR 2. And the reason I'd say it's the best is because I think it's just
That's
the
what I played it
fullest,
on initially,
most immersive experience
but I got it on
that we
here
currently have on PSVR 2.
with the
Now,
Meta
with
Quest
that all being
3.
said, we've just had a
Fucking do
brand
this
new
shit.
update,
This
the
might be the
Worlds
next thing I
update
do.
to No Man's Sky, and that's what we're going to be checking out
Come on,
today.
kick
So
it.
let's bugger off to a new planet, and let's go to infinity and beyond. Bloody hell! Yep, we're in an asteroid field. Okay, well that's lovely. So, oh, look at that sun, sir. Look at the sun rising. Oh,
Come on, I need 4K.
oh, it's bloody beautiful. Got the sun rising over the hills. We have a beautiful planet loading in? Question mark?
Yeah, this was the best because you
but
fly
one
in.
of the big parts of this update is apparently like realistic water. There's supposed to be more cool environments, a bit more uniqueness to the environments, and I'm pretty interested to see exactly what that looks like.
Me too, good sir.
Right now I'm seeing a whole bunch of palm trees and what possibly is a tropical paradise. And some water. Oh, it's your boy Reese. Good lord, this looks friggin' beautiful. Wow, wow, wee, wow. Look at that. We have the water rippling on the sandy ocean. Whoa! Flip it. Oh, birds. I am human. I must destroy. Good lord. Well, multiple things happened. This scared the crap out of me. Actually scared the crap out of me. Look at these birdies. They look beautiful. And this water, it's so splashy and lovely. I wish it would splash though.
That's what I want to do.
Oh, look at my little legs go. Lovely. I'm sat here having a swim, mate, in this beautiful, vast ocean.
Yeah?
Beautiful.
See, this is cool.
We're in creative mode anyway today.
Because you're not really
I just wanted
directed to
be able
go
see
anywhere.
this beautiful
Like
world,
Starfield, you're
lands,
directed.
Take it all in.
Too much.
And honestly, pretty freaking beautiful. The water
Starfield
looks
seems
truly better
too
than ever.
linear.
I would
This
like to
seems
see a
wide
little
open.
bit more of like some wildlife knocking around. Oh man, so we've seen this planet. It definitely looks nice. We got some very juddery grass, and we have some birds in the air, which are just lovely. Can I kill you? I want to see you closer. Nice. Hey man, how you doing? You good? Oh, it's a friggin' seagull, basically. Hey, seagull, can I pick you up? No. I killed a seagull. A bat seagull. A bagel. A bagel. Wonderful. We're warping in the air. I took LSD. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you honestly think this is what a trip feels like? I don't know. Never done one. But I do know that this is what it would look like if I went back through time.
This guy's crazy.
What do we have here? A mostly water planet. I mean, I have no luck. Do you know what I would love one day? Is to find one of the planets like you see in the trailers. Because I just don't have that kind of luck, I'm afraid. I mean, what the hell is this ugly crap? Oh. What is this ugly crap? I feel like I'm in like a noir planet. Well, that's terrifying. But look at the sky. It's all frickin' fricked.
Whoa.
And everything else is like noir. I've lost all colour. What the hell is that noise? Am I in Cthulhu? Whoa! Okay.
Love it.
I think I've gone to Cthulhu land. I think I'm in Cthulhu land. This is
Like
this is a
Doom.
Lovejoy planet.
I think you
It's
can
all
ride those.
black and white where the color is broken. Either that or there's a graphical error. Either way, we are going to say hello to these creatures. Hello, mate. You seem friendly. Christ on a bike. Are you good, mate? Whoa! You know what? I said I wanted an interesting planet, and I got me an interesting planet. Well, there goes another Wormy Joe. Latest Wormy Joe. I actually just did a reload to see if it would fix the texture issue on this planet, and it seems like it's a textural issue full stop on this planet. I think, or maybe it is this planet. Can someone let me know in the comments down below, because I am not familiar enough to know that I've ever seen somewhere that is has no color spectrum. Let's
I love it.
get the frick out of this planet though, because it is pretty scary.
It's too sad.
And I don't want to die. Okay, we're starting to see color again. Colors. Dude, it must have been the planet. That was bloody wildin'.
I love that.
Interesting. So you just have no color. That's how you roll, baby. Okay. Damn. It's pretty beautiful, actually. Got a giant crab-like creature and two-leggy boo-boo head. Gonna kill your child. How do you feel about that? Look at this, it's screaming in agony. Are you gonna do anything about it, or are you just that passive? God, it deserved to die though, it was ugly. You die. What about you? Blah 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 blah. Everything's so passive here.
The ground looks really new.
I mean, it's because
it'll look a lot better.
Yeah, one thing I will say is we definitely now have a bit of diversity. Get out of there, go on, go on your way. Shooting your booty.
PC.
We've got like a lot more planet diversity than we ever used to have, that's for sure. Like even like these weird unclassified plants. Yeah, I like it. They're pretty cool. The environment feels just a little bit different again. God, that water is so blue though. I simply must have a dunk. I feel like I'm in freaking Barbados. Let me have a little splash in here, darling. And a splashy. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice. Blue ocean.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh.
VR.
Ow. Nope. Ugh. Well, okay. I mean, this is a good fight for them. I said I wanted something with floaty stuff. I've got kind of floaty stuff. And a very, very different planet once again, which I will say is pretty unique. Like everything is like sucking out of the earth. It's kind of crazy actually. This looks eerie as hell. This is like the ghost plane, you know? This is where you go for purgatory. This is one of the dynamic events that happens. It's like these windstorms that you can get. Like there's a bunch of different weather things that can happen now. The storm, like this dry ass freaking arid storm is one of the things that can happen. It's not really ideal for a content piece though, is it? I mean, we've seen it, it's lovely. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, guys, please do smash that like button and subscribe. As always, I try and do one of these videos on No Man's Sky with each of the updates because it kind of keeps it relevant. Also, I'm talking about this being PSVR 2. This is also available on PC VR as well, so if you own a PC and like a Quest 3, 2, you can still be able to jump into this as well, or of course any PC VR headset. So yeah, definitely check this one out.
Huh. Let's keep it rolling.
This game, you're not ready for it.
It's that time of the week again where we get to talk about the brand new VR games out this week, new games coming next week, and of course some of that juicy VR gaming news. But before we dive into that, I want to thank today's channel sponsor, Grab. Grab is a VR multiplayer parkour game. Climb, jump, slide, swing your way through the levels to reach the end. But don't fall or touch the lava, or you'll die. Play with up to 12 players in cross-platform multiplayer. You can even build your own levels. And wait, it gets better. You don't even have to build them on your own because your friends can come in and build them with you and then dive in to test them as you're going through the process. And with the fact that you can build your own levels, that means there is a lot of community levels already built. In fact, there's so many, over 650,000 1,000 levels already made by the community for you to dive into. So, well, needless to say, there's a ton you can get up to in this game. And I haven't even mentioned the best bit. Yeah, it's free! So you can go and grab a copy this weekend from the Quest store, as it's just released on Quest yesterday. And honestly, you're going to have an absolute blast. You and your mates get together, build some dope levels, experience some dope levels. There is a ton to do in this game. So a massive thank you to Grab for sponsoring this video. Let's kick this off with Astro Hunters VR, the PvPvE. Whew, man, I actually managed to say it right for once. Brand new game that has just hit Steam. This is going to be making its way to Quest and other platforms later in the year, potentially early next year. But for now, you can go over and play it on there. And well, if you have a PSVR 2 and one of those adapters, you can even play with your PSVR 2 on PC VR these days. But regardless, this game is an absolute dope game. You get in there, it's sort of like a loot or extract type situation where you're going to get in on these random planets, go for your target, get your bits, and then get the hell out of Dodge. Next up is The Burst. Well, this is one I was looking forward to, and well, you know, it wasn't too bad. Now, I jumped into The Burst with higher expectations than were met, if I'm being completely honest with you. The game still feels just a little bit buggy. So in this game, you are going to be playing like parkour dude, basically, where you have like a grappling hook thing for your hand, where you can sort of grapple stuff, you have a bunch of shooting, bunch of riding bikes and stuff. On the surface, this sounds like...
Son, my guy's nice.
By the way, that's foul. These guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're having fun.
Yeah.
For you guys to sit here and be like,
wait a minute.
Let's bring it up and mock them. That's up, dude. That's a dude. By using them as an insult.
Using?
Yeah.
We're using you?
No, I'm not being a victim. I'm saying the jokes you're doing is not. It's not like.
It's calling out the Italian.
Cool. You know what's really great?
You're making fun of these guys, these Down syndrome dudes, putting out TikTok videos.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a wild 24 hours.
Nice.
By the way, that's foul. These guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're having fun.
Yeah.
For you guys to sit here and be like,
wait a minute.
Let's bring it up and mock them. That's up, dude. That's a dude. By using them as an insult.
Using?
Yeah.
We're using you?
No, I'm not being a victim. I'm saying the jokes you're doing is not. It's not like.
That's PC.
That's not cool.
You know what's really great?
You're making fun of these guys, these Down syndrome dudes, putting out TikTok videos.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a wild 24 hours. I'll tell you what, I haven't had much sleep, but I still managed to crank out a fresh video for you guys. So before we get started, I want to make a map insanely popular for his track to 20. You probably heard there Schultz saying this was Shane's 20th podcast appearance in the past week, and that's because he just released his first special, like I said before, and he was doing the podcast rounds after Rogan anointed open about. Watch them, it's not really my thing, but here's how it went down.
Mark has been trying to get me to watch this show for at least maybe 2 months.
A year.
Okay.
Yeah. Literally, it's the
yeah.
best show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Good game.
But here's the thing with the show. I think if you don't know anybody who has Down syndrome, you just feel bad for them.
No, you don't.
If you don't know people with it.
Then
you watch the show and then you're like,
yeah.
You know, like the perception is, oh my God, this is so tragic that these parents
dating
have
show,
and then you watch it and it's like, oh, they're the most fun
They're
ever.
the best ever.
Everybody enjoys it.
Yes.
I don't want to say golden retriever, but the same energy where it's just like positive. Wait, really?
Yeah, I was doing a joke about people with Downs is like having a dog.
He does stand up on the spot.
People with autism is like a cat. Like, you think they like you, they walk out of the room. I love cats. Cats
like that. Well, I'd like to see them perform.
Yeah.
They have to be doing like now.
This will come up again in his second appearance on Flagrant almost exactly 1 year later in October of 2022, and things would be different then. Now, things have already started to change. Even only in the year that has passed, Gillis keeps getting more and more popular. He's a lot more confident now, especially after having...
For winning?
What if recording high quality content, editing
We gotta get this Gillis drama. Oh my God. The thumbnail.
PSG was really
I didn't pick PSG.
Stop it! Why would you lie now? Why would you lie now?
You guys, are you on Andrew's side? You liar.
I'm a neutral guy. Very honest.
That's
Liar?
a huge explanation, bro.
He lied. He knows I was Man U.
What do you mean? Man U?
Yeah.
You were PSG.
What is happening?
He was Man U.
I was Manchester United.
Yeah.
Can we not play a game here where we antagonize him a little bit?
Yeah, he was PSG.
Why
I
are these
swear to
guys
God, I thought you were
supporting so
PSG.
much? You guilted them all into supporting you? That's what this is?
No, they were happy to see you
Oh,
lose.
my life is so hard.
They were happy to see you lose.
Yeah,
Dude.
man.
Who
Yeah,
said
they
their
were
life
happy to
was
see
hard?
you with your victim culture. All you do, come in here. Oh, I'm vaccinated. It's so hard going to my conservative family. Oh, my family's so conservative.
No, my family is not.
Lean
that
back,
conservative.
dude. Hey.
I'm here. Now I'm definitely
Are you leaning
the
in?
rest
Are
of
you
the
leaning
show.
in? Is that what's
Yeah.
happening?
I'm not gonna lean back now.
Listen, Shane. We played a spirited game. You won. I'll give you that.
Yeah, you seem like you're taking it well.
Yeah. I am. What is that? Sarcasm?
You seem loud.
What is
about
that? Sarcasm right there?
it. Every time I come on this thing.
Yeah. Actually, this is funny for a change.
No, this one you got.
Actually, something entertaining
Every
about
time I
this
come
one.
on this
Okay,
thing,
now
I
this
sat
one
back
you
because I
got.
wanted to, by the way.
Okay, good.
Oh man, Schultz was all over the place, and I get it, right? He plays it up for the camera.
was
Flagrant is all
fucking
about
weird.
the hype and the energy. There's so much going on at once.
Well,
People talking
why do you
over
even
each
get
other.
mad about
Schultz
that?
is shouting. He can't sit still. And look, sometimes it works. You'll be
Fucking
watching
fuming.
for 30 or 40 minutes, and it feels like only 5 minutes have passed. But man, Schultz was uncomfortable for this whole podcast. It was almost like he was intimidated by Shane, and he was desperate to come off as the funnier guy, which is lame seeing as they were both accomplished still on. He would
It's podcast in a row you're doing, so we're getting high energy.
Yeah,
that was brutal
really
for us.
Sucked.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a bad episode.
And it was every one of those guys didn't, but
Yeah.
there was I was doing that podcast thing, and every podcast was like, so SNL. Like that's, I would
Yeah,
sit
right.
down and they'd be like,
Yeah.
I think it probably helped you.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
That's, all right.
Yeah, well, thank you for giving us the energy for the question we didn't ask.
No, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Excited
What's
about
your problem, dude?
Excited
You had a
about
bad attitude
SNL?
when I called you
Excited about
today.
that.
You were grumpy when I
Yeah,
called
I
you.
did have a bad attitude.
Why were you being grumpy?
Because you faked the whole I don't know what's going on thing, and
I
I didn't
didn't.
like. Oh, you did. You called me the day of the pod. You're like,
I
oh
said,
yeah, we
"Oh,
had today.
I said, oh, shit, are we
How
doing
often,
the pod today?
How often do you call me?
And I wanted to call you. I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, right before the pod.
Yeah, I wanted to say,
You
oh,
were
shit.
being fake.
What are you
That's why I was
talking about?
I don't
frustrated.
know context. What's happening?
He
I
called
called
me
him.
today, and he was doing the whole like, oh, I don't know what's going on, like, and he goes,
This is outrageous.
he goes, oh, I'm so crazy. I drink beer, and I don't know what's happening.
This
like,
is the most
I don't
insane.
know what's happening in the world. I'm such a
He
schlep.
doesn't trust
You know what I mean?
anything
Like,
ever.
I'm a genius comedian, but I'm a schlep. Like, it
This is
what
the
it
most
is.
insane.
It's okay,
dude.
it's okay. It's
I
okay.
called him to
That's
be
your
like,
outfit. You know,
dude.
Judah used to wear the outfit every night. That's your outfit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no, not fit. Come on, metaphors. Come on, Shane. Look, so
well,
you
I'm
called me.
confused as
You
dude. I
called
thought
me.
we were friends.
You called me. Yeah, but you don't call me in the AM. You called me at 11 a.m. and you're like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And I'm like, "What's up, bro?" And then I'm like,
I was like, are we doing the podcast today?
yeah.
You said yeah.
No, you said, "Oh." After you
I was
called me,
like,
like,
oh,
"Oh, yeah, are we doing the pod today?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." And you're
Oh
like,
no, that's
"Oh
on
yeah,
you.
that."
No, I didn't. No, I
Don't say
literally,
oh, just say yo.
No, I literally called and said, "Are we doing the podcast?" I didn't
No, you
say,
did.
"What's up, dude?" No,
Yeah.
I said, "What's up, you hoe?"
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
said.
yeah.
I said, "You
Okay, I think I'm
a
on
little.
this.
Look for yourselves.
and I.
And fun. Yeah. That's a.
But it all circles back to angst feel. Something interesting.
It's that time of the week again where we get to talk about the brand new VR games out this week, new games coming next week, and of course some of that juicy VR gaming news. But before we dive into that, I want to thank today's channel sponsor, Grab. Grab is a VR multiplayer parkour game. Climb, jump, slide, swing your way through the levels to reach the end. But don't fall or touch the lava, or you'll die. Play with up to 12 players in cross-platform multiplayer. You can even build your own levels. And wait, it gets better.
I
You don't even have to
don't
build
know
them on
what
your own
to
because your
do,
friends can
man.
come in and
I
build
think
them
I'm
with
done.
you, and then dive in to test them as you're going through the process. And with the fact that you can build your own levels, that means there is a lot of community levels already built. In fact, there's so many, over 650,000 levels already.
Back in 2022, I lost two very important people in my life. Big figures. It really wasn't until February.
When the first trailer for Assassin's Creed VR came out, we were all skeptical. I mean, it basically looked like fake gameplay from a mobile game ad, and I was especially doubtful that any AAA VR game would commit to this level of movement, given how many players still get motion sick. And the fact that this was a Quest exclusive my expectations were basically at the floor. There's
Oh,
no
it's a
way
Quest
Ubisoft would
exclusive,
fully
no
commit
wonder.
to bringing a true Assassin's Creed experience to standalone VR.
Glad I got the Quest. Yeah, I want to do that. This might be the next one. Oh, man.
What they actually did? Since its release, the Assassin's Creed VR game has been very divisive, and for good reason. To some people, this game is a dream come true, yet to others, it's been a huge disappointment. Why is that? Well, after 2 full playthroughs of the game, I think I finally know why. You see, this really feels like a true Assassin's Creed game. Almost everything will be pretty familiar if you've played this series before, from the satisfying air assassinations to the sometimes janky parkour. It's all here. Even the tailing missions are back, for better or worse. But for every perfectly badass moment like this, there's also a moment or two like this. But I've seen so much negativity about the game, specifically when comparing the combat to physics-based VR games like Bone Lab or Blade and Sorcery. But here's the thing, unlike those physics-dedicated games, AC Nexus is not trying to be the most realistic simulation of what it feels like to kill people. Despite its name, that's never really what this franchise has been about. Rather, this VR game aims to provide the same mix of satisfying stealth, urban parkour, and historical reverence that made this such a beloved series in the first place. And when looking at it with that context, this game almost entirely delivers on the promise of being the most immersive Assassin's Creed game yet, albeit with plenty of room for improvement, hopefully in a sequel.
would be
But
fun
first,
as
let's
hell.
talk about what AC Nexus gets right,
Boom.
then what it gets wrong, and lastly, some tips on how to enjoy it despite those flaws.
Just like old times, eh, Ezio?
I wonder when this video came out.
Maybe now just a little grayer.
The first thing you'll notice are the graphics. This game pushes the standalone Quest to its absolute limits in bringing these 3 different time periods to life. I played on the Quest 3 and still had major frame rate drops, which I hope they can patch out in future updates, but even if they can't, to me, these graphics are worth the occasional lag spike, although it can sometimes get annoying. But this is easily the most visually stunning standalone VR game I've played. Most of the footage in this video was recorded on a Quest 3, but the entire second playthrough I did was on a Quest 2, because I was initially worried that the Quest 2 version was going to have massively downgraded visuals, but honestly, after playing through the entire game again, the differences aren't too noticeable. The Quest 2 version holds up really well, but the good things don't end there.
Gray.
I'm happy to say that the story was not a disappointment either. The AC franchise could not be a more perfect fit for a VR narrative, seeing as the Animus technology that Abstergo uses is basically just a full-dive VR simulation of the past.
This is the Abstergo Cloud. It's an archive of memories stretching back through time.
Don't mind
We
me.
use a technology called the Animus to visit these memories, seeing them through the eyes of those who lived them.
What is this, time travel?
It's a simulation.
Which basically means that the entire setup of the game makes it canon that your character is wearing a VR headset, which is really cool
fucking
because the other
cares,
characters in
man.
the story will end conversations by taking their headset off.
Now, let's see what you've got.
The girl from Deadpool is your Abstergo boss, who gives you a mission to track down pieces of an ancient, powerful artifact, typical Assassin's Creed stuff, and it happens that the assassins Ezio, Connor, and Cassandra all came into contact with these artifacts during their life, so you'll be reliving their memories so that Abstergo can find the artifact in the modern day. But secretly, you're working as a double agent for Sean and Rebecca, modern-day assassins. And what's different from most Assassin's Creed games is that the story jumps between time periods, meaning that you'll have the chance to explore ancient Greece, Renaissance Italy, and revolutionary America in the most immersive way possible. Constantly switching between characters and locations can be jarring at first, but it really helps with the game's pacing. You're constantly being introduced to new locations, characters, and missions, so there's always a reason to keep moving forward through the story. But if you want to take your time in each of these locations, there are a few side activities to give you a reason to explore. Some are parkour challenges, some are historical facts that contextualize these historically accurate locations, which I think is so cool. In any other game series, these would just be in-world lore bits, but here they're genuine historical facts, so you're actually kind of learning something.
That's Leonardo da Vinci. That's so sick.
Oh my god, it's like a mini version of that when you fly in AC Brotherhood. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, please tell me I fly this thing later. It's so cool to see this, like, in real scale. It shows that the team behind this really did their research when crafting these worlds, and that attention to detail makes this game so immersive to play through, and luckily, the actual gameplay is mostly just as good.
Best to stay undetected here.
Let's just get it out of the way though, the melee combat in this game is very disappointing. I can't really sugarcoat it. But in all fairness, AC Nexus really should be treated like a stealth-focused game. The combat makes fighting multiple enemies at once intentionally overwhelming, I'm assuming to encourage a stealthy approach. And as someone who has played the most recent flat-screen entry, Assassin's Creed Mirage, that feels right at home for the series. Because when you do play as a silent assassin, it feels incredible.
What's all this then?
Just like the flat screen games, you are rewarded for your patience and observation. Planning your takedowns never gets old, even though executing them is sometimes a little janky.
Badass.
What I've learned is that it's best to assassinate while standing still, and if you want to further interact with the body, like doing your own little finishing move, you have to leave at least one of your blades in like this. But it's kind of fun testing the limits of what this game will allow you to do. For example, I found it really cool when I realized I could do assassinations with my throwing knives as well. Then I also realized I could throw Connor's tomahawk. This game makes you feel like an assassin in a way that no flat screen game could. And I haven't even mentioned my favorite part.
What's that?
You know what's really been missing from the recent Assassin's Creed games? Parkour. So it's hilarious to me that the Assassin's Creed VR spin-off game has better, more precise parkour than the actual game it's based on. In the flat screen games, your movement is controlled by this tiny thumbstick here, so it can be really hard for your character to jump precisely where you want them to. Anyone who's played these games knows how frustrating it is to see your well-trained assassin jump in the completely wrong direction and fall to their death. In VR, this is not a problem. Seriously, you just look where you want to go and you'll never miss a jump. And the level design complements this movement system perfectly. The dense urban cities offer plenty of verticality, which makes every level feel like a playground to run and climb around. I'm usually not one to complete optional challenges or time trials in games, but every time I saw one in this game, I did it immediately. The movement is just that fun. And it really helps that the full player body is super immersive as well. I will never get sick of looking down at my feet as I walk between rooftops or stealthily climbing down and seeing your legs accurately placed against the wall. Looking down and seeing yourself actually wearing these assassin outfits is such a cool experience, and it's why I'm always asking developers to add full player bodies. Sure, it's not always perfect, but when it works, it adds so much to the experience of feeling like you're actually there, not just a disembodied floating pair of hands. But now let's talk about a few issues I have with the game and how to mostly avoid them. First tip, recalibrate often. Anytime you feel like you aren't grabbing things properly or your body feels out of line, hold the menu button to do this. It recalibrates the player height and body, and I had to do it every once in a while when I felt like I kept missing ledges that I was trying to grab. My biggest issue with the climbing in this game is that your hands kind of snap to every surface in an unnecessary motion. Honestly, grabbing anything in this game is a little wonky because your hands don't smoothly fall into their proper gripping position. This can be especially frustrating when doing anything with environmental objects during stealth. It's super neat that you can grab anything and use it as a distraction to lure guards.
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own story.
I need to buy YouTube Premium, I guess.
Hey!
What's all this about?
But the throwing feels bad, and it's super easy to give yourself away unintentionally by knocking things over. Second tip, the combat can be really overwhelming when fighting multiple enemies and archers at once. The ranged weapons are pretty overpowered though, so use them often. But also remember that stealth is encouraged, so even if you are spotted, you can break the enemy's line of sight with you and most likely have a chance to re-enter stealth. Just make sure to sabotage those alarm bells first. Oh yeah, you can also use your hidden blade during combat, which is cool, because you can't even do that in the flat screen games anymore. Third tip, these social stealth sections are really cool.
Look at this. Look how many people are there. That's my target right there. And I need to get to him without alerting any of the guards or people.
But be careful about bumping into civilians. As you blend in with the crowd, you can push people out of the way, but I'm not sure how exactly it's supposed to work. I'm guessing you shouldn't just grab people and shove them, though.
Let go!
These sections work best if you just keep your hands close to your body and weave through the crowd. Speaking of the crowds, they are pretty impressive for standalone VR. The Assassin's Creed games have always nailed the ambient sounds of the city, and here is no different. Whether it's the bustling crowds of a Venetian party, or simply two random NPCs talking in an alley.
What brings you to town today? A little business, a little pleasure. It's certainly a pleasure to see you. Likewise, it's been too long. Perhaps we could sit down for a drink? After my business here is done, I would love to. Help!
It all makes the world feel so alive and so immersive. Even though this line of dialogue seems a little out of place.
I've come to tell you about Cat VR treadmills. They just added support for over 100 new standalone games.
I can't do this. In case that awkward transition wasn't clear enough, this section of the video is sponsored by Cat VR, which I am beyond excited about, so don't skip. In case you haven't heard of them, Cat VR makes the best VR. Now, Catwalk C2 Core, which is... Now, I want to take this time to thank every one of you who are subscribed, especially those of you who have stuck around since that first video not too long ago. This channel isn't even a year old, but thanks to those of you who take the time to like and comment on every video, I see you guys. And thanks to you, I've found almost 40,000 people who in some way share this passion for VR that I have. And your support could not have come at a better time. The VR industry is just about to explode. From the untapped standalone Quest 3's capabilities to Apple's own premium headset launching soon, and literal consumer-ready VR treadmills existing now. Like, I have one of those in my living room. What is there to be more excited about than virtual reality right now? So if you aren't already, please consider subscribing. I'm Virtual Bro, and I'll see you later.
Or it's just Minecraft in general. There's no... I want to play it with my knees. Ooh.
I have been playing video games for many years now, and every once in a while, a game comes along that is just perfect. These are the games that stick with you long after you finish them, the ones you can't stop thinking about. They're the ultimate experiences that set the bar for what video games can achieve. Here are my top picks for 15 perfect 10 out of 10 games, in no particular order, that you should play at least once in your life. This game is an absolute masterpiece, and every time I boot it up, I'm reminded why I love it so much. The narrative is phenomenal, with Geralt's journey to find Ciri being compelling, emotional, and filled with impactful choices. There's hardly a moment in this game that you could complain about. It's that good. Witcher 3 also has one of the best game worlds I've ever seen. It feels alive and jam-packed with detail that you can spend hours exploring, admiring, and stumbling upon hidden treasures and secrets. Combat in The Witcher 3 is another area where the game shines. It's intense and super challenging, especially for a newbie, as it requires you to use a mix of swordplay, magic, and alchemy to defeat your enemies. Speaking of enemies, Witcher 3 features a wide variety of monsters and beasts that make every fight different from the last. If you love RPGs, you've got to give this one a shot. Breath of the Wild is nothing short of a revolutionary experience in open world gaming that has inspired a ton of other games throughout the years. This game doesn't dictate how you should play or tackle the challenges. It gives you total freedom to do things at your own pace. You can explore every part of its vast world, climb mountains, approach quests in countless different ways, or take on enemies that stand in your way. Breath of the Wild is a masterclass in game design, where every element comes together to create a truly crafted experience. One of its standout features is the climbing mechanic, which transforms every surface into an opportunity for exploration. This, combined with the game's abundant vertical features, makes the world feel rich and full of adventure. Breath of the Wild's brilliance lies not in a single revolutionary element, but in the thoughtful integration of various well-crafted components. The paraglider, the climbing, and the expansive vertical terrain each contribute to the game's unique charm.
I wish the
Do you
art
like having
was
a
just
P.O.
a
box
little bit
but are tired
more
of
adult.
wasting time and money driving to the post office?
Of course, I had to include RDR2, probably the most perfect game I've ever played. This game has everything that one could ever wish for. The story, the visuals, the gameplay, everything is
This
top
might
notch.
be it,
And that's
too.
just scratching the surface, really, because this game goes the extra mile without making it too obvious. I mean, I've hardly seen games with a world that evolves on its own, even when you are not around. NPCs have a life, a routine that they realistically follow, weather that actually affects the environment, the NPCs, and even the wildlife creatures. It's really all these smaller details that make RDR2 the most perfect game ever. Now, I am sure most of you have already played this game, but if you still haven't, you are missing out on a gem here. Games like Breath of the Wild and Witcher 3 are masterpieces, and we all know and accept that, but there are some hidden gems like A Plague Tale series that I think deserve some more spotlight. So I am going to include both Innocence and the more recent Requiem to the list. Both of these games are amazing, and I've never had a similar experience in any other game. The emotional story, the bond between the siblings, and the journey of survival through a plague-ridden world is simply brilliant. It's filled with moments of tension, heartbreak,
What
and
is this?
genuine love that keeps you hooked from start to finish. And it only becomes better with a hauntingly
I'm gonna go back. My bad, y'all.
Of course, I had to include RDR2, probably the most perfect game I've ever played. This
Kill.
game has everything that one could ever
might
wish for.
check-
The
I hope
story,
this-
the
I wanna
visuals,
see if
the
this is on
gameplay,
sale.
everything is top-notch. And that's just scratching the surface,
nice.
really, because this game goes the extra mile without making it too obvious.
Never
I mean,
I
I've
gotta, like,
hardly
fix
seen
my
games
settings
with
or
a world
something.
that
It looks
evolves
really
on its
good
own,
here.
even when you are not around. NPCs have a life, a routine that they realistically follow, weather that actually affects the environment, the NPCs, and even the wildlife creatures. It's really all these smaller details that make RDR2 the most perfect game ever. Now, I am sure most of you have already played this game, but if you still haven't, you are missing out on a gem here.
I gotta do that.
Games like Breath of the Wild and Witcher 3 are masterpieces, and we all know and accept that, but there are some hidden gems like A Plague Tale series that I think deserve some more spotlight. So I am going to include both Innocence and the more recent Requiem to the list. Both of these games are amazing, and I've never had a similar experience
Spoiler
in
alert.
any other game. The emotional story, the bond between the siblings, and the journey of survival through a plague-ridden world is simply brilliant. It's filled with moments of tension, heartbreak, and genuine love that keeps you hooked from start to finish. And it only becomes better with a hauntingly gorgeous world and impressive sound design that creeps you up with a sense of dread and urgency. This series offers a perfect blend of stealth, puzzle solving, and narrative-driven action that stays with you long after you've finished playing.
Leave it to me! You! No! Should have thought of that before you lot stole from us!
Final Fantasy franchise has given us some of the best action RPGs, and it's hard to pick just one. While I am tempted to go with the OG classic Final Fantasy VI, which I really think is the most perfect game in the series, I am just going to
Interesting.
go with a recent masterpiece, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Well, for one, the game is almost just as good as 6, and you can actually play it in 2024. This game serves as the perfect entry point for newbies who are just getting into the game, while also retaining the classic gameplay that millions of fans have come to love over the years. The remake not only improves the graphics, it also fills some of the gaps in the original and dives deeper into the lives and backgrounds of the characters to add more context. Even if you have played the original game, you need to play this remake. It doesn't just rehash the original story, but enhances it with new story arcs and surprises that are worth exploring. Even a decade after its release,
so
Deus
badass,
Ex
God.
Human Revolution remains a
First one.
masterpiece in gaming. It
The
offers
first
everything
7.
you'd expect from a Deus Ex game, sneaking past guards, choosing lethal or non-lethal approaches, and navigating through bases to reach objectives. Each level is intricately designed with multiple ways to proceed, featuring dozens of computers to hack for codes, secret item stashes, and plot details, all while incorporating optional shortcuts accessible through ability upgrades. It's immensely satisfying to use a newly unlocked cloaking shield to sneak past a room full of guards, then leap to a higher platform with leg enhancements just before the cloak wears off, and finally punch through a wall for quick escape. Alternatively, you can invest upgrade points into health, inventory capacity, and treat the game more like a shooter. While not as satisfying as a modern FPS, it still feels solid, especially as you upgrade your guns or use other augmentations to gain high ground or flank enemies while cloaked. The game masterfully blends various gameplay systems, making them feel cohesive and balanced, with no element noticeably weaker than the others.
Help me. Son of a bitch.
Shadow of the Colossus is often hailed as a masterpiece in the gaming world for its unique blend of minimalist storytelling, breathtaking visuals, and innovative gameplay. Released on the PlayStation 2 in 2005 and later remastered, the game tells the poignant tale of Wander, a young man who ventures into a forbidden land to revive a girl named Mono by defeating 16 colossal beings. The gameplay focuses on epic battles against these colossi, each a puzzle requiring unique strategies, which fosters a sense of exploration and creativity. The game's stunning visuals and hauntingly beautiful world create an immersive atmosphere that draws players in. Its sparse narrative and emotional depth evoke a range of feelings, leaving players reflecting on the moral complexities of Wander's quest. Shadow of the Colossus transcends traditional gaming, standing as a testament to video games as a profound medium for storytelling and artistic expression.
Yep, love it. Love it.
I have played loads and loads of video games over the years, but Mass Effect series is probably the only game that made me want to cry with its emotionally moving story and unforgettable characters. Okay, maybe not the only game, but yeah, to me, it's more than just a game. It's a story that unfolds differently for every player depending on your choices. Your decisions impact everything from major plot points to the fates of individual characters, creating a truly personalized experience. There's a good chance you have played the whole series, but if you haven't and you want to, you should do yourself a favor and get the Legendary Edition. It brings back Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 to both new and old fans with enhanced visuals, refined gameplay, and all the beloved elements that made the original trilogy a storytelling masterpiece. I've never played a game with a story more compelling and the ending more satisfying than this, and emotional too.
Now, where's the commander?
Now, BioShock doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel when it comes to gameplay. I mean, yeah, the gunplay is fun and challenging, but the storytelling and the morality system is where this game shines the brightest. BioShock constantly throws in twists and turns, a universally accepted fact. And while I could easily fill up this list with games like Sekiro, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls, I am choosing to go with From Software's latest Souls-like RPG, Elden Ring. This game does everything right. For one, it doesn't force you to do anything. You are free to explore the vast open world, take on bosses, or finish the whole storyline without ever facing any of them. Then you have this exciting open world that, despite its massive size, never feels empty or uninteresting. You are either busy admiring its gorgeous landscapes, discovering areas with secrets and lore, or galloping around the world on your horse. Elden Ring even has more build variety and just more of everything compared to other Souls-likes, and it's also comparatively fair for newbies to get into this genre. If that doesn't make Elden Ring perfect, I don't know what will.
That's what got me into it. I'm gonna do Dark Souls next, probably.
I think it would be totally unfair to not include at least one survival horror. Baldur's Gate.
Introducing No
I don't mind
Man's
watching
Sky
this ad.
version 5.0. A complete refresh of the universe. With new technology, new flora and fauna, and new gameplay.
Love that.
Planet variety is far beyond what was possible before.
Got a fucking zit on my face.
Oceans have
I can't
waves,
pop. Right here.
reflections, and more
Pissing me
variety.
off. I'm gonna like stick a needle in my fucking
Planets
face.
have wind patterns. Waves are
Everybody's
dynamic,
seen this.
and
I love that.
3 is like this incredible mix of everything that's great about games like Witcher, Skyrim, Dragon Age, and Mass Effect. This game heavily leans on player choices and narrative depth. You can be turn-based battle. Trust me, I've been there. Once you understand how the system works, you will find it super
No, this is
rewarding. I
probably
still
not for me.
remember constantly asking myself, what if I choose to go with other options? How would it impact the story or my relationships? And that curiosity made me go back to the game a ton of times. Plus, the characters in this game have so much depth and personality, which makes you want to get to know them better. All the Persona 5. In this game, you play as a young boy who lives a dual life, a high school student by day and a monster hunter by night. Now, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what makes Persona 5 so good. I mean, the sheer size of content in this game is simply mind.
Probably should. This is what Starfield should have been. Yeah. We're gonna do it. Oh my god, no. Sound the alarm. Let's see. We gotta be really careful with this shit. Okay, and Mass Effect. We're Mass Effect people now.
At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot.
Greetings, Commanders. This is Kato Genesis, and welcome to a little tips and tricks on the first Mass Effect game of the Legendary Trilogy. Obviously, some of these tips will be able to apply to the original Mass Effect game, but there are some new features that come along with the Legendary version, so you can expect to hear about those too. And if this is your first time jumping into Commander Shepard's shoes, don't worry, this is free of story spoilers, and we'll be focusing on gameplay tips and such. So let us relay jump to this many tips and tricks I wish I knew before playing Mass Effect 1, the original and Legendary Edition. One of the most incredible things about the Mass Effect series as a whole is that your actions as Commander Shepard will have rippling consequences throughout the rest of the game.
This is what I
if
want.
you're choosing to bring your character through all three. Even though you can start anywhere in the series and kind of get the gist of what's going on, there will be many special consequences throughout the second and third game if you bring the Shepard you played as from the first. Be aware that some of these do
Love
take
it.
a long time for an actual payoff, but in a lot of cases there will still be one. There were quite a few features that came with the first game in Legendary Edition that aren't present at all in the original. One of these is the choice between Legendary or Classic mode. Legendary mode lets you rack up experience a lot more quickly, so you don't have to do multiple playthroughs of Mass Effect 1 to get to around level 50. Classic mode just keeps the level game how it used to be in the first game, which encouraged playing through again in New Game Plus to max out your level. I'll recommend Legendary mode every single time, because you have a trilogy to play. And while the first game did get the most visual attention and some quality of life stuff, mechanically I think it's safe to say that the second and third game are leaps and bounds better. And also, if you want to play both sides of Shepard's alignment, Paragon once and Renegade second, I imagine you'll want to crush the game the second time anyway. Speaking of changes, when it comes to the Legendary Edition, there is a control toggle for the Mako Land Rover that you can drive around on terrestrial areas, and this basically switches it from tank controls to directional controls. It's more a matter of preference, and I honestly can't tell you which one is better, but the toggle is there in your options if you need it. Last I want to talk about with the new features is, yes, there has been a lot of visual improvements with the first game, and along with that came photo mode, which is also available through the rest of the games now. In Legendary Edition, there will be a new button in the menu towards the bottom that says photo mode, and that's how you activate it. I didn't play around with it too much. This is your standard photo mode fare. It comes with color correction, field of view, things you would expect from a photo mode, and the ability to remove all characters from the shot if you're looking to just get some cool shots of the environments that you come across in Mass Effect. And there are a lot of beautiful views and different atmospheres to experience. Mass Effect 1 relies on a lot of discovery to find different objectives, and that could be just talking to NPCs and getting missions from them, or examining objects and getting information. In Mass Effect 1, you can not only gain objectives from discoveries and conversations with non-player characters, but also experience. Simply learning about the Mass Effect universe can net you more experience from whomever you meet, and possibly even level you up as you get more immersed in the Mass Effect universe. One of the options in your menu is the Codex, and is a wonderful tool to learn the Mass Effect universe and its various life forms, cultures, and technology. If you are brand new to the series and have questions related to these things, chances are there will be a Codex entry to read or listen to. Throughout your exploration of the galaxy, you will gain more Codex entries as you go. It is rare that this much time is spent on voice work for world building. So at the very least, check out that primary tab because it's totally worth it if you want to get immersed. The Citadel is the main hub in the game, and where you'll spend a good chunk of your hours there if you're looking to complete objectives. On the Citadel, the Wards District is where you will locate the Med Clinic. Here, early on, you can find armor modifications that will greatly help your survivability and keep you from using too much metagel to keep yourself alive before, during, and after combat. Something that will improve your life and Shepard's life, by extension, is the medical interface mod for their armor. Once it is equipped, it will grant a passive HP
Need to
regen,
figure out how to
saving
change
you
my
on
title
so
on
much
a
metagel
pick.
in between fights. Speaking of applications to move over to weapons, and there are a lot of different types of ammunition to talk about, but I would like to specifically bring up the anti-organic and anti-synthetic ammunition, anti-personnel and anti-armor, respectively. These I recommend you swap on the fly, and you can, even in the middle of combat. The first game splits it down the middle pretty well on which type of enemies you will be encountering between synthetics and organics, but the important part is to swap your ammo when you find out who you're fighting. This becomes more important as you're playing the game on harder difficulties. If you're playing on normal, probably don't need to worry about it as much, but veteran and onwards, the ammo type you choose does make a world of difference in how much time the battle is going to take. And late into the game, the damage bonuses you'll be getting with this ammunition gets up into the 40% range, and I don't need to tell you how massive of a boost that is to your damage. It's 40%. I want to talk about team management for a little bit. That's both assembling your team and working with them in a combat scenario. So in this example, my version of Shepard is biotics focused, leaving no room for engineer abilities. So it was ultimately more beneficial bringing along characters that would complement my build rather than just stack a whole bunch of biotic energy, which is awesome and terrifying for the enemy, but I would lose out on the tech side, and there are a lot of containers and terminals to bypass. Since I had no tech to speak of, I brought someone along who did, so I could break into anything we came across, often resulting in more loot. This is recommended purely as a gameplay standpoint. When it comes to narrative, that's up to you. But it appears that the map was built around complementary skills between teammates. Another thing about teammates is their AI in combat is not terribly great. So one thing I would suggest, so they're not just getting in your way when you're trying to shoot something around cover and they're just standing in front of your reticle, is to send them to another point with your commands preemptively. Ideally behind cover, unless you're just trying to incapacitate them so they're completely out of the way. Oh, and if it's not set already, set them to always use their skills. Unless you like micromanaging them on the ability wheel, I personally like to be active in combat myself and let the AI kind of do their own thing, dumb as they are sometimes. And I'd rather they were generous with the damage dealing rather than conserving their abilities and just waiting for Shepard to give the order. Merchants and vendors throughout Mass Effect will sometimes have licenses that they sell down towards the bottom of their inventory. These licenses let the quartermaster on your ship sell some of these things from those manufacturers, saving you a trip to the Citadel market if you're in dire need of some basic equipment. Additionally, merchants will sometimes have permanent increases to metagel or grenade capacity for sale too. So it's always good to check the bottom of their inventory first, especially if it's your first time there. These upgrades and licenses are always worth getting because sometimes there's no guarantee that that merchant will still be where they work.
Oh man, I don't know how to fucking
When you
do
start
this.
off and first start looting throughout Mass Effect, you'll get the option of converting items into Omnigel. Unwanted items can be converted into Omnigel for per item you decide to break down. And Omnigel's primary use is bypassing and to a lesser degree used to repair the Mako rover. If you
I gotta change my cake title.
Now, first things first, you're going to have to click on your profile over here. This is our profile at the top. Right? And you're simply going to click on Creator Dashboard. After that, you will be redirected to this dashboard.
I hope I'm not like doxing myself or whatever. Let me cover this out. I gotta change my title. Don't know what I'm doing. Settings. Profile. Okay. Can I edit this? Session info. How do I edit my fucking shit, bro? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Same. Edit some info. Uh, 18 up, fool. 'Cause I ain't got time. Alright. We good now. Whoa, 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 whoa. Holla. How do I say it? Oh. Oh my god. Okay. Got 17 followers. Okay, I think we're doing good now. Sorry y'all, sorry y'all. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What should we look at? There's a lot of stuff there. Cool. I think we fixed a lot of stuff. Let's see what it says now. Yeah. Gaming for a cost. No more. We're just hollering. Let's see. Did it work? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're hollering now. Okay, cool. Alright. I don't know. I mean, what can we do?
You've got no problem doing puzzles that you.
What directions to go? It's interesting.
Picture this. You're sitting at home alone watching YouTube videos,
Okay.
wondering why you can't find the motivation to do the things you need or want to do.
Wait!
Okay.
Don't shoot!
Oh, I see how it is.
No, stop feeling and think.
Is he going to be a problem?
Nice.
Hey there, I'm a psychopath. That means I can legally justify the malicious actions I choose to take against others for my own self-gain. It also means that I drink McDonald's Sprite. Now, as voted on by all members of the council, aka my Twitch chat, a true psychopath is a ruthless colonist adept. Don't ask me why, that's the law. I also had to choose insanity mode because I've never played Mass Effect before. Yay! Although psychopaths are usually deemed as more than likely hideous-looking monstrosities, in my case, I prove it 100%. Thing is, I was still deemed far too attractive by my Twitch chat. In fact, some said that it was nearly impossible to go full ugly with female Shepard. So I deleted myself and was reborn as 10-piece Nug.
Cool,
This is
everything's
Canon
working out
Femshot
well.
now. And this is my psychopathic joyride adventure. Part 1. My grand plan of ruining pretty much every relationship possible in the game all began on a simple ship where my useless crew babbled on about politics while I stood tall dreaming of eyebrows and genocide. But my dreams ended.
Tell Commander Shepard to meet me in the comm room for a debriefing.
Because of work.
You get that, Commander?
Great. You pissed the captain off and now I'm gonna pay for it.
I had now begun my renegade life of luxury and lack of friendship. I tried my darnest to kill my fellow crewmates, but sadly I wasn't captain enough to do so yet.
Eden Prime. I've heard it's quite beautiful.
This alien liked to waste time on small talk, making me wish someone would just shoot him in the head.
I'm a Marine, not some tourist on vacation.
Transmission from Eden Prime, sir. You better see this.
Bring it up on screen.
Now this is the kind of video that I'd watch falling asleep at night.
Get down! We are under attack, taking heavy casualties. I repeat, heavy casualties. They came out of nowhere. We need...
I wanted more. I wanted more of it. It was beautiful. So they shipped me straight to the planet and gave me a gun, as to which I immediately turned and shot my crewmates to test their durability. Naturally, I killed every little bit of innocent wildlife just to make sure. I also made sure that the dead weren't alive. Of course, like I was grouped up with randoms in Fortnite, my crewmate ran straight into gunfire. My secondary henchman and I killed the robots and wildlife just to make sure they didn't have guns too. Yeah, he was dead. And just like that, we pretended we gave him a burial and left him in a puddle.
Leave him. We need to finish the mission.
Classic. Alien chiropractor. We pushed forward towards the alien chiropractors, but it was too late. They had made an army of shish kebab zombies. Now, just like all of my future companions, these enemies were weak to gunfire and death.
This isn't your mission, Saren. What are you doing here?
The Council thought you could use some help on this one.
I wasn't expecting to find the Geth here. The situation's bad.
Don't worry. I've got it.
Looks like Saren beat me to it. So we fought all of
This
our
is
way
pretty
through
cool.
hordes of Geth and zombies until my selfish companion decided to steal the forbidden knowledge for himself. Yet not today. I ripped that pile of trash right out of the way and absorbed as many orange flashy lights as I could. And then I exploded. So anyways, after I woke up, I made sure to yell at Caden for trying to steal my oranges.
I expect better of you, Lieutenant.
Don't be so hard on him, Commander.
And insulted the medical facility.
I don't suppose it occurred to you that Eden Prime has medical facilities.
Then, in a moment of clarity, I spoke freely about what I wanted.
Death, destruction.
And played it off like it was a dream.
Shepard, I need to speak with you, in private. Nihilus is dead. The beacon was destroyed and Geth are invaded.
Sounds fine to me.
The Council can kiss my ass.
And so we flew off into the
Why
void,
does he
to the
look like
giant
that?
eggshell in the sky, or space, or wherever we were. If Ashley turned around in this moment, she'd have a heart attack. So I ran around the Citadel like a normal person, and then I talked to Cortana.
And welcome to the Presidium. My name is Avina.
I don't need a guide.
A brief orientation session is customary.
I'll pass.
I apologize if you found my service unsatisfactory.
It was the worst. So then I met I don't care.
I think we're doing good. I think we're chilling.
Then it was time for politics. They basically just said a whole lot of nothing and made me feel like if
We got a
at some
nice
point I
little
could
lineup.
actively decide for them to die, I absolutely would.
Saren despises humanity. That's why he attacked Eden Prime.
This meeting has no purpose. The humans are wasting your time, Oxfam, and mine.
You can't hide behind the Council forever.
Do you have anything else to add, Commander Shepard?
Then I left because I didn't care.
I won't waste my breath.
But my fellow humans wanted me to come up with a plan.
Looks like there's 4.
Hello, I'm Human's Works, and today I'm going to be discussing the best ending to Fallout New Vegas. New Vegas is a legendary game and truly
again, then I don't want to watch it. I wonder if Billy's playing it's pretty cool. Alright. Finally upgraded to Steam. Alright, 7 o'clock. We did pretty good. We had a couple of different sessions. We did good. Alright, bye bye.